Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aloha Press podcast and YouTube show. My name is JC, and I'm going to be your crazy R-rated golf podcast host. But before we go anywhere, and we have to initiate, we just gotta get after it.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Now, with that being said and that out of the way, welcome to the show. First and foremost, I have to absolutely explain. Unfortunately, Jeff will not be with us today, but he will be with us very, very shortly, which is exciting news. Now, what is even more exciting is a thank you needs to be placed to all the listeners, the fans, the friends, the community members, anyone that I bugged to please listen to our show. It has paid off, and it is because of you. Earlier this week that we learned that the Aloha Press podcast is the top 5% podcast listened to in the world. So out of the 3 million podcasts recorded every single week, we are in the top 5%, which is incredible. It's incredible news. It's the 130 episodes. This will be 131 that we've been able to put out. I mean, just based on our statistics, based on the listens, based on the comments, the downloads, all of that, we are ranked in the top 5% producing podcasts in the world, which is absolutely incredible. And the only way we could do that and get that, get that percentage, I mean, it's just it's incredible. It's not because of us. We just hit record and start talking. It's up to you guys and gals to go out there and listen, actually share it and comment, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. It's one of those things to the bottom of my heart. It's something that I still get nervous after 3 years of doing this before these shows. And it's because there's a lot on the line. And I don't want to disappoint you, but let's get to the golf stuff, okay? A lot of things are going on. A lot of things are happening. We're going to cover the Valspar Painters Classic Championship, where Sam Burns took home a victory. And we're going to go ahead and hit on the news that broke earlier today in regards to Phill Mickelson. And then also we're going to be covering the LIV Golf, the Saudi-backed league, which renamed itself again, I think. We're going to touch on some of those things. And then we're going to go ahead and get to, a little mystery surprise at the end there. So, Sam Burns. I mean, it's one of those things that's pretty incredible where, I'm sitting here, Jeff and I are back. We're doing the podcast together. And sure enough, we put our typical bet, a bottle bet, on Valspar. And sure enough, I knew I had the information. I was the one prepared. And I said, Jeff, go ahead and make your pick. And sure enough, he picked the freaking winner. Back-to-back, Sam Burns goes out there and gets it done in a 2-hole playoff over just kind of a sad story. Davis Riley's never won before. Smokes Davis Riley. I mean, Davis Riley, he shot +1, which is just, disappointing. But he fended off a lot of good guys. Matthew Neesmith, Justin Thomas, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Brian Harmon, Stuart Sink. It was definitely a little older field. Kevin Streelman was in there in the top 7, and even Brooks Koepka made it up to the top 12. You got to think, when I'm sitting there ready to pick, and I'm dicing it up, tossing it up to Jeff, and he goes out and picks the winner. And I picked a guy who didn't even play in the tournament. I picked a guy who fucking literally withdrew. And this is the problem. Like, there's 2 things. The first problem is if you're not following our advice at all, picking, one, you're going to lose a lot of money because if you pay attention to my statistics, half the time my guys withdraw. But Jeff, oh my God, I mean, first pick of the year, picks the winner. I mean, I don't know what the odds were with Sam Burns. I'm assuming they were halfway decent. If you had to put down $100, you probably would have walked away with $1,000. Just saying, that's one of the problems. You got to start wagering. When we put out these rankings and predictions, I mean, I know you're not going to watch this particular tournament. It was rather boring. It was rather uneventful, to be quite honestly, besides Charlie Schwartzel, tossing a club about 80 yards and then hitting the same exact club and holding out for eagle, which was just immediate, just just hatred towards him because it just, the hissy fit and then he holds out just immediately pisses me off. But that is the way it goes. So Sam Burns, I mean, he breaks the top 10 in the world golf rankings. He's actually kicking out Dustin Johnson, who has been in the top 10 world rankings for the last 7 years, which is just a remarkable feat, especially with just everything that's gone on with the world rankings. He's just always been in there. Unfortunately, he loses his spot to Sam Burns, who gets his second victory this year, which is pretty incredible. He's a guy who is just absolutely tearing the tour up, and tearing up tours where the competition is not the strongest. I mean, I hope to see him continue to play his great golf going into the major championships, specifically coming up here at the Masters. But good for Sam Burns. I'm excited for him. He's an interesting character. Hangs out with Billy Horschel. Seems like him and Billy are idols together. I don't know if that's just a common redundancy that we see them on television all the time. But let's get to the news that broke earlier today. I mean, the Valspar Championship, great. Let's dust her off. CBS did another NBC did another bang up job with the pressure talk on Sunday with Sammy and good old Davis Riley. But let's get to Phill Mickelson, because that's what you want to know, right? That's what you want to talk about. Phill Mickelson will not be at this year's Masters. Earlier today, Mickelson was removed from the field list for next month's tournament at Augusta National and added to the list to past champions not competing. A spokesperson for Augusta National later confirmed to golfchannel.com that Mickelson will indeed skip the year's first major. Mickelson has won 3 times. No reason was provided by Phill Mickelson in regards to his withdrawal. I don't know. Here at the Aloha Press, we're huge fans of Phill. Phil's one of my idols. What he said in regards to the Saudi and all that stuff, was it something that it was the proudest moment as a fan of Phill Mickelson? Absolutely not. But what is going on? Like, no explanation. He's been quiet. He's been silent on the front of the PGL, the PGA Tour. We haven't seen him since the Farmers Insurance Open Championship. And you got to think, and you got to recognize that this is a scary moment for golf. This is an absolutely just gut punch. I mean, it's a punch right to the freaking hoo-ha. It is not good. It's not great for the game of golf. It's not great for a guy who's won this championship 3 times, who's the defending PGA championship, who just won a major championship at 51 years old. What are we going to do? And what else is going on in Phil's life? What else? And that's what scares the shit out of me, because I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to support this guy, through his ups and downs. Just like we did Tiger Woods, just like we did Dustin Johnson, just like we did with Brooks Koepka, just like we did with Ricky Fowler. I think I might be contractually, I might have to be saying nice things about Ricky Fowler in the near future. I'll explain. It's kind of in regards to Farmers Insurance, but we'll get there later. You got to think Phill Mickelson, first major championship. It's not a PGA Tour sanctioned event. It is one of those events that you could come back and go, hey, winning solves everything. Hell, Nike printed it on a t-shirt, pissed everyone off. Winning does solve everything. Now, I don't know what this news is. I don't know what's going on. And it scares the shit out of me. Did the Saudis get to him? Because I know they didn't like his comments. Did Greg Norman? Did he send the sharks, the minnows, the freaking great whites, the tigers, the sea snakes? What is going on? We just don't have any information. In the world that we have instant gratification, we have instant notifications, I'm not instantly notified. All I'm instantly notified is that Phill will not be at this year's Masters, which pisses me off. And we'll get to that later this week. But it's one of those things that you look at it and you go, Lefty, what the fuck is going on? I'm worried, scared, hesitant. This guy's won here 3 times. If it's the sponsor thing, we'll sponsor. The Aloha Press, we'll take a loan out. We'll get some stocks. Maybe invest in an NFT or a crypto project that I know nothing about. And we'll get him a sponsorship. If that's what does he need golf clubs? I'll buy him some golf clubs. We're going to have to look for the lefty ones. They might come out of the bargain bin. But I'm just saying, what what is this news? What does this mean? Just silently just being removed from the guys who's going to play in this year's Masters? Frustrating. Absolutely frustrating as a fan of Phil Mickelson. And you got to think, is this something where, based on some of the information that came out earlier this week in regards to the Saudi-backed Beheaded Classic Championship, the LIV Golf, which is just the name. I mean, the name is just LIV Golf, LIV Golf. What does that mean? What is that? Is that an acronym for nothing? That's what it is, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't do enough research. And maybe I don't care. Because it just shocks me. It just shocks me that we are just up in arms about this as golf fans. We're up in arms in regards to just what is going on in the world. Saudi Arabia just freaking literally did a mass death penalty. And we're still going to let this league happen? Dirty money's dirty money. And there's a lot of it apparently. And it just shows you that what is the world coming to? I mean, the U.S. government has no problem dealing with them. Why isn't the golfing world not able to deal with them? I mean, they're just living by the laws that they created. If someone has a problem with that, they should have a revolution. But do we need a revolution in golf? Greg Norman's come out and said a lot of things, but the Saudi-backed league is one of those things that dropped a schedule and it looks promising. They did a good job with it. Now, do I know any of these golf courses? Absolutely not. But I'm interested. The Saudi-backed league has dropped a schedule and courses that they will be playing in June. It's an 8 event. It's a season of 8 events with a championship at the end, which will have a team concept at the very end. Now get this. Each event, the purse will be $25 million on a no-cut event with 48 players playing golf 3 days. It starts June 9th through the 11th at the Centurion Golf Club in London. No clue what that is. It's an opposite field event because what is being hosted that week, the week before the US Open, is the RBC Canadian Open. And we all know how that has gone in the last couple of years. It's been non-existent. The RBC Canadian Open is still defended by freaking Rory McIlroy. I'm just saying, the Canadians got... They literally shut down freedom of speech in regards to one of the most peaceful protests in the world when it comes to trucking and their rights and human rights. So, which country are you going to go to? Which entity are you supporting? An RBC Canadian Open, which is going to have 154 players playing for $10 million or $9 million or whatever the hell that is, to claim the Open Championship in Canada, which you can only play golf there, 3 weeks out of the year. I just don't know how many players are going to be real excited sitting at home, not playing the RBC Canadian Open, preparing for the US Open, and watching a 3-day tournament where they're giving out $25 million to 48 players. Now, continuing down the schedule, we'll go on. July 1st through 3rd, Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club out in Portland, Oregon, opposite field of the John Deere. July 29th through the 31st, Trump National Golf Club at Bedminster in New Jersey. It's going to be opposite field of the Rocket Mortgage. And then September 2nd, the International in Boston. September 16th through the 18th, Rich Harvest Farms in Chicago. October 7th through the 9th, Stonehill Golf Club in Bangkok. October 14th through the 16th, Royal Greens Golf Club in Judaha. No idea. October 28th through the 30th, the Team Championship, which, by the way, will be played for $30 million. It is absolutely incredible what these guys are giving out. And they have no sponsors. Besides the dirty money. But this dirty money, what in the world? How is the RBC Canadian Open going to be able to compete? And Greg Norman was asked, like, who are these 48 guys that are going to fill the tournament? If you say, guys, hey, guess what? You are going to at least get a check. I think the average purse is going to be like $400,000 for a guy who wants to take the risk. Let's do some math. Let's just on average, okay? We're doing $25 million divided by 48 players. $520,000, $833. I apparently can't read numbers, but that's $500,000, an average purse amount for each and individual player at a no-cut event where these guys are going to show up, play some golf, and take home $500,000. Are you kidding me? I can't imagine Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson sitting at home, passing up on the RBC Canadian Open and skipping this London event. Now, they can stand by their sponsors all they want. At the end of the day, when there's money to be made, I think we're going to see a jump. And I think we're going to see a pushback when it comes to the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour is going to bend backwards. I think the PGA Tour is going to go, oh shit. Our Super Bowl has just been kicked in the nuts when it comes to purses. If you're at that level of playing golf, I'm assuming your competition is no longer with each other. It's probably with each other's checkbook. And for you young people listening to the show, I appreciate it. The checkbook is something that is, it's like your debit card, just you keep track of it in a book. Now you do it online. Anyways. It's just tough to see how this thing will not attract halfway decent players. And what is it going to take? Is it going to take a no-name 800th ranked, professional golfer ranked in the world who comes out of Tahiti and wins this thing and takes home $10 million? Don't you think some of these guys, and I keep naming Justin Thomas, which I kind of feel bad, but I mean, can't you imagine a guy like Matthew Fitzpatrick, a Lee Westwood, a Tommy Fleetwood, a Luke Donald, a Turl Hatton, a Bryce Garnett, a Nate Lashley, a fucking Kevin Kisner, Victor Hovland going, I could smoke that guy playing left-handed, but he was just handed a check for $10 million and played golf for 3 days. I don't know. I don't know if this independent contractor thing is going to last. I don't think it's going to last in the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is going to either have to do something crazy or bend over backwards. And I'm betting on bending over backwards. I think the PGA Tour is in a position where it's not going to have a choice to say, go ahead, guys. We let you do it earlier in the year to the Saudi event, which was an Asian tour event, which is just cracks me up because now it's different. Even though we had like 40 of the top 80 guys in the world go play it, who I'm assuming got paid. But in retrospect, I mean, when it comes to golf news, this is the juiciest it can get. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. I appreciate it. It's one of those things that if it wasn't for Saudi-backed money, if it was Saudi-backed, Russian-backed, I mean, pick a peaceful country. How's Nigeria doing? Are they starting any wars? I don't know. Brazil? We fire up the old cartel down in Colombia and get some cash pumped towards a new league because 8 events, $25 million purse. I don't know who's going to televise it, but I sure shit am probably going to watch it. I wasn't going to watch the RBC Canadian Open. I mean, I was, but I wasn't going to watch it intensely. But 48 guys, shotgun start, $25 million on the line. Joe Blow hillbilly, walking out there with looking like Billy Madison, fucking playing golf. I think it's a great opportunity. If Greg Norman called me and said, hey, need you in London, I might show up. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I can promise you that, because I've talked enough shit to Saudi Arabia that I am sure my phone and everything that's listening in my house right now, which, excuse my office, it's in disarray because we just changed offices. I'm assuming the Saudis got a tail on me somehow, because I was not very positive with anything that has gone on in that country, let alone sending emails to them, which, send a little friendly email like, hey, is this true? And then they responded back with, who the hell are you? And then I got nervous. Cell phone started acting weird. Anyways, conspiracy theory here. But that being said, guys, really appreciate it. It's one of those things that you look back and you recognize that, after so many episodes, so many pieces of content you produce, and you realize that, shit, you're in the top 5% of the world when it comes to podcasts. And it's all thanks to you. And I appreciate it. Do me a favor. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this grind going. We're going to be launching something new here shortly, which I'm excited about. I'm excited because it's nerve-wracking and scary, and it's something that I haven't pulled the trigger on. I've talked about before. I've been nervous about it because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my self-worth. That people will actually listen. People will actually, be a part of it. And I'm proving myself wrong, which is, I do that often. But as long as this episode does not get suppressed, I appreciate the downloads, the listens, the likes. If you are listening to this and you want to be a part of the show, please don't hesitate. Reach out. You're going to be part of a top 5 podcast in the world, which is pretty incredible. Now, with that being said, we are still the number 1 R-rated golf podcast. I mean, shit, it's one of those things that, when grandma's calling you and letting you know that your foul language is spiked up again, you've checked that box. So with that being said, guys, really appreciate it. As always, hit bombs, attack pins, and aloha press. And we will talk to you on Wednesday for Wager Wednesday as we break down the match play event out in Austin, Texas. Have a great day and get after it.
Wearing all black.
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
Ain't no time for school today.
Hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut lob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with cart girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phill talking about a guy taking a shit in the cut.
Mahalo!
That's what we did fireside with Phill.
Fire the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.